First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, I'm Greg Nibler. This is Fox 12 Now. As always, thanks for joining us. I say it every time, and I mean it every time. I appreciate you being a part of this show, whether you're watching on social media, on our website, or our apps. Lots of places to get the content, and we cover a wide range of things on this show. Sometimes it's segments and interviews about important topics that are happening in the Northwest. Sometimes we talk about events. Sometimes we bring you breaking news. Right now, though, I'm talking about something that will probably affect quite a bit of you out there, especially if you've ever used the Google Play Store. If you have an Android phone, specifically, this is going to be about you, but however, if you are an Apple Store user, this could still end up affecting you as well. So this has to do with a lawsuit that was just settled by Google against, well, they were being sued by all 50 states' attorney generals, every state plus Puerto Rico plus Washington, D.C., and I think a few others thrown in there too. So this is a big lawsuit that's been going on for a while, and they came to a settlement term. Part of that settlement is that Google will pay out $700 million, and part of that money could go to you if you've used the Android store to purchase anything, the Google Play Store, anything between 2016 and 2021. The specific date in 2016, I think, was like August of 2016. I'll get you that. But if you've purchased anything August 16th, 2016 through September 30th, 2023, if you purchased anything in there, you could be eligible as for a payout as part of this settlement. But I wanted to just give a bigger context on this and explain a little bit more about what this lawsuit is and about how it's going to affect you and how it all started. So this really began back in August of 2020. And it has to do with the practices that both Google and Apple have in their stores. So anything that you download out of the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, when you download those, you're getting it through the store, obviously, through their setup, through their proprietary storefront, if you will. Now, if you make a purchase through there, if you buy an app or make an in-app purchase, up until very recently, there's a little bit of changes now. Generally speaking, though, Google and Apple would take 30% of that payment. So say you subscribe to something you download an app, you subscribe to something in there, but you downloaded that app through one of the stores on your mobile device, Apple was taking 30% of that payment. Or Google was taking 30% of that payment. And that's how those stores work. So the developer, whoever it is whoever's app that you downloaded, and a good example is Fortnite for a lot of people that play that game, but even if it's not an online game, you just have a subscription to something on there, those two companies would take 30% of that payment right off of the top, leaving those app developers, the people who own the actual apps that you download, who created them, they would have that taken out of their margin. Now, a lot of complaints have been lodged about that over the years from developers, from consumers, just saying, hey, they're taking 30% and really they're only providing the storefront. That's been the argument for a lot of people. Well, back in August of 2020, Epic Games, who created Fortnite, so they're the ones behind Fortnite, very, very popular game. If you don't know it, you probably know somebody who's playing it. And they decided to make a stand about this. And they decided to start actually advertising in-app of how people could get around paying money through the store and to go purchase things from their website. If this is getting confusing, I'll try to simplify it very much, but doing so violated the terms of both the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. It meant that those two companies weren't going to get their 30% of the cut of an in-app purchase. That violated the rules. Epic Games knew that when they started doing that and very publicly said, hey, you can skip the stores and go buy things from our website. And of course, Apple and Google proceeded to ban the app Fortnite from both of their stores. This is a big deal because Fortnite is played by millions and millions, if not hundreds of millions of people. I mean, it is huge, huge game. So that caused, obviously, a lot of media attention, a lot of attention devoted to that. And at the same time, Epic knew that was going to happen. Epic Games did, the creator of Fortnite, and so they immediately launched a lawsuit against both of them, saying this is basically calling them both monopolies and suing them. So those lawsuits started back there in August. They both, Apple and Google, both countersued Epic. These are separate lawsuits, and that continued on there for a while. So these lawsuits have been going for quite some time. I'll just give you a little bit of something there. Okay. Of course, this isn't working right now, so that's because, we're live, so of course it's not going to work. Regardless, that went on. These lawsuits happened. And Apple ended up actually winning their lawsuit largely against Epic, and where they were able to continue most of their practices as they have been doing them. So that's one side of things. That we're going to come back to the Apple lawsuit here in just a minute. Google's side, again, this all relates back to the Play Store and everything that you download from the Google Play Store, everything that you've ever bought through there, everything that you do continue to buy, and anybody out there who's an app developer. Just 30% of the profits go to them. So Google has continued on with their lawsuit against Epic and vice versa, but also brought in there were the aforementioned attorney generals of every state. And so that's what I had mentioned earlier. That's the lawsuit specifically that we're going to be looking at right now. And that's that $700 million settlement that they just reached, actually was just announced as specifically just this last week. So this $700 million that Google is going to pay is a lot less than what they originally asked for. The attorney generals, that lawsuit asked for, I think it was $10.5 billion. $700 million is where we settled. And so here's how this is going to work. So the lawsuit itself comes with a couple of other things. They are going to have some caveats to the Play Store, where they're going to allow developers to advertise ways to pay for services, for subscriptions, for in-app purchases outside of the Play Store. So the app developers, you'll notice this on your apps. If you download a lot of Google Play apps, you'll start to see this, at least from some developers. They'll say, hey, if you want to buy this, head on over to our website and do it that way instead of doing it through the app. That's something that Google's going to have to allow them to do for at least, it varies in the years, but say 3 to 5 years, depending on what it is. A lot of things going on in there where Google is going to have to also submit compliance reports to an independent monitor to make sure that it is not being anti-competitive for the next 5 years. So you'll notice these differences in the Google Play Store. If you are a frequent purchaser of apps, you'll know what's going on. Now let's get to the $700 million. I know that's what you really want to know. I wanted to give a little bit of a background on there. So the $700 million, and I'm pulling this up here too specifically, this is a legal, this is the actual verbiage from the lawsuit. So Google is going to pay $630 million in restitution. So that $700 million, take away $70 million of that. That's going to be given up for penalties, fees, and costs associated with the lawsuits that were brought. Still leaves $630 million to go out to the people, maybe you, who purchased something through the App Store, again, between August 2016 and September 30th, 2023. So the way these payments are going to be happening, the way you'll see this, is a lot of people, they estimated quite a few of them, who make purchases through there will get an automatic payment. You'll get that through either PayPal or Venmo, or you can select to receive a check through an ACH transfer. So you'll get a notification that will say, hey, yeah, as part of this lawsuit, you have money. Now, it may only be a couple of bucks. I mean, $630 million sounds like a lot, but you spread that through a whole lot of people. It may not amount to a ton, but it's money that's going to be going to you. However, not everybody will receive that. They will also be announcing a way that you can go onto the website and to a website that they will provide and file and see how much you will be eligible for. But again, a lot of you may not have to do anything. You may just get a notification that says, hey, how do you want your money? So pay attention to that. Pay attention to those. Make sure they're coming from a legitimate source, because anytime you do have something like this, there's the potential for scammers. So don't click on any link that just says, hey, Google wants to give you money. Don't do that. Make sure it's coming officially from Google when they do send that out. And I'm sure there will be a lot of notification when that happens. But that is how you can probably get your funds if you purchased anything through that app store or an in-app purchase during that amount of time. So that's where we're at with this lawsuit. Going back to the Apple thing I said at the beginning, I did mention we bring that back in. So the Apple lawsuit, Epic won, but both Epic and Apple want the Supreme Court to look at this case. Of course, they're both appealing. There's appeals that are going on. Both of them want this to end up in the Supreme Court's hands to decide whether or not Apple has a monopoly with their Apple Store, and to just settle it once and for all. So look for that. We don't know if the Supreme Court's going to take this up, but with a company the size of Apple and with how much of a ramifications a ruling like that would have on so many different things when it comes to the digital marketplace, I'm going to guess it'll get picked up. And when that happens, that'll be a pretty big deal, because it'll decide how we interact with online stores for a long, long time. So that's coming up in the future. You may be getting your payout if you bought something from Google Play. And that's kind of just the basic rundown of what we're looking at when it comes to this lawsuit. I know that's a lot that I just threw at you, but just understand that this will have an effect. It will change, even if you don't see it right away, how we interact on these online marketplaces. And since that's what we use for so many things right now, it will have ramifications for all of us going forward. So it's important to just know that that's going on. But the bottom line, you may be getting a couple bucks from Google Play at some point here if you made some purchases there. So that's just a little tech segment here for Fox 12 Now, just to explain some of what's going on. I'm sure there'll be some comments, some questions. I'll see if I can answer those for you. If not, I'll direct you to the best places to get those answers. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Fox 12 Now. We cover a lot of different things on this show, wide variety. You can find all of our videos and segments on our YouTube channel for Fox 12 Oregon, or on the website, or on our apps, which are available in both the app stores. So Fox 12 Oregon, go ahead and download that app, and you can watch all of these videos on there as well. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Greg Nibler. This is Fox 12 Now.